tonight it's time to move to a new game. Citizen Sleeper, it's called. It's got a very simple front end. I don't see an options screen here, it's just new game or quit. So what is this? Well, I'm using separate volume control, so let's turn the volume up. There's going to be some pretty interesting background music. Let's play Citizen Sleeper. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are using cerebral and precise people. Perk. I'll choose character class. Chance to gain a cryo on interface actions. Got skills here. Under skills, it's engineer, interface, endure, intuit, engage. So the operator starts off with +1 to interface work with digital interfaces, but -1 endurance. What else is there? Extractor. Work on resource extraction. Often in hard vacuum environments. I don't know what the volume levels are like here. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Starts with +1 to endurance, but -1 intuit. Machinist. Repairs and modifies automated systems using industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Starts with +1 to engineer, but -1 to engage. Those are the character classes. So machinist, operator, extractor. Also perks as well. The extractor has perk, sunbathe, dice action, allows energy recovery at home. The perk of the operator, chance to gain cryo on interface actions. The perk of the machinist, chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. I'm tempted to go with extractor here. Let's go! First thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. Okay, so the first thing to notice about this game is there's going to be quite a bit of reading. There's no like narrative speech in the game. At its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was undisputably yours. So then you got choices. Think of that body, forget that body. Think of it. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. Oh, I experienced that recently. The friction of a fingertip. Sorry, not fingertip, a toenail. Going A over T. Some kind of, it's just one of those weird events. I wasn't even walking on a slippery surface, but my feet just went out from under me, and I went down hard. And little toenail on the left foot got a serious bashing. So, oh my goodness me. You feel the friction of the fingertips and the toenails. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from another. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dull nature of this new body given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the plan, or remember the others? I'm going to choose remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you, 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay, 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realised they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter, 10 that would escape or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be in that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Wait for the cold, or try to rest. I think I'll go with rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but even then your body has shut many of its systems down to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Rest. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth, not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigour, sound too everywhere screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, then softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Oh! Dragos. Items data. Cryptocurrency stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as sheets. Oh, okay. So how do I do this then? There's no tutorial or... controls? Okay. I can pan around... is there a controller? Yeah. You can use a controller. Don't know what I'm doing, really. I press the right trigger and it does that. Left trigger does that. And here's options. The scene text size can be default or large. Scroll speed is slow, default or fast. And there's the music level. Probably knock that down a bit. Okay. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost, or stay silent. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have been better. Perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its arising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment, or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. Choices. A plan to survive. What happened to them? Stay silent. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along, you remember biometrically signing the forms. The cold floor on your feet as you're padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world, but as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person, you are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SN-ARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumours of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? Stay silent. The station, you'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with, he trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been putting in much valuable scrap these days, so you are welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you, emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. All right, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest, and with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks. His drone's already converging into a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Tutorial. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life in the Eye runs in cycles during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. You select locations with da-da-da-da and the A button. Really? Empty container. You're home for now. All cycles need to end, rest, and prepare for the next one. So you go here, can end the cycle. View character with right button. View my character. Don't have any upgrade points, but this is where you do the upgrades. Okay. So let's end the cycle. You wake up curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. Now, I think I will knock that back up. You wake up curled up in the corner of the container. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are in this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know, and you still in the system. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape? Getting answers? Building a life? Where's my choices? Sure, I can use the controller for this. I'm not sure. Getting answers, maybe? It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What SNARP did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images of your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright, polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking that they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions, and you must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food and currency to buy it. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving and your condition will deplete at a double rate per cycle. So, what do we have here? Something called flickering up here. What do we do here? Roll the dice? I'm not sure these things look like they can be moved. Flickering. Dragos has stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realise it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly arising. How are you feeling? Okay or not good? The drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Work? Or sure? Alright then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we'll pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labour. And obviously I'll slip you a few sheets of commission based on what you turn up. Got it. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do, will do? He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. So where do we go now? Got a few things here. Empty container, that's your home. That's the yard. And up here, the low end gate, passage into the low end. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. So from the sounds of that, yeah, I guess your controller kind of works, but this is supposed to be played with the mouse and keyboard. Click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome: positive, neutral, negative. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. So if you see that, 100% chance positive. That symbol there means 50% chance positive, 50% chance neutral. Okay. Actions display information about their type, risk level, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. One type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk, either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or cryo, so you get safe, risky, danger. Skill, the skill that this action requires, either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. And a modifier, either -1, 0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. So here we are. We've got repeatable actions here. Hull dissection. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. So, this is where you drag the dice here. It says risky. Another repeatable action over here for manual salvage. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labour. Endure +1, it says there, but that's listed as safe. Input dice. So what if I try that? 100% positive. Over on that one. And these don't look so great here, so it's 50% negative or 50% neutral or 50% negative in the risky one. Oh, you can only do one at a time, I see. If I put that one in there, the outcome could be 50% positive or 50% neutral. So I will go ahead and put it in there. Manual salvage. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. So we have this clock down here. Back in business went up. Every salvager knows they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. Action complete. And if I wanted to have a go at this one, I can only use these. Try it. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself in the world. Drives guide you through in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. You are now free to explore Erlin's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Use the mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Survive, find a doctor. Active, complete. I'm not out of dice yet. But try it. +5 cryo. Negative outcome. I'm going to try that one over here. Negative outcome. I have got some cryo, cryptocurrency. I'm starving. Doc C4. I've used up my dice. So I'm going home. Oh, there's one here. But I'm out of dice. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Well, I will end the cycle here. This time you don't wake up, instead the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring surrounds you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colourless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station, no, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Touch it. You find a point in the station and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp and try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours, not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there, the station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. So after the cycle, you can come back and you've got a new set of dice. Repeatable action, so you need to remember that I've got this one here back at home. This is 25% positive, 50% neutral, 25% negative. Sunbathe. And I got some plus energy. Yeah. So, time since the last autosave, it says 193 seconds. There's no manual save here. So, it's just autosaved. Right. So I'm going to have to be wary of that. So, 35 minutes on the clock, end session 1. So then, Because it auto-saved just 1 second ago, I can go ahead and quit to the menu. It does tell you here, progress since the last autosave will be lost. And see you next time, Citizen Sleeper.